Hi guys, I hope you're all well and having a lovely day. Today I thought we would talk about the Kinbor Weeks, which is basically the Hobonichi dupe, Chinese Hobonichi dupe. I came across it on Amazon. AliExpress. I had never actually heard of Kinbor before, and I was just kind of floating around AliExpress having a look at stationery, and this popped up and I thought it was really cute, so I had a quick look at it, and for the price I thought it's not worth not buying it. It was about 20 Australian dollars, and of course shipping was included. I really liked the design and it came with a few extras, so I thought we could check it out together and see what the differences are. So let's have a quick look at what it comes with. So it comes with a little, oh yes, so how to use your Kinbor Weeks, which is pretty similar to the Hobonichi already. And here we have, oh that's really cute, a really cute calendar, which the images are adorable. I quite like that. It also came with these stamp style stickers, which are really lovely. And it came with these stickers, which are pretty similar to the ones on the front there. What really caught my eye was this mini set of calendar cards. That's kind of cinched the deal for me because I love these. And I always like to have a set to put on my wall every year. So this is what did it for me and definitely made me decide that I was going to buy this particular style. There was about 10 different designs and they were all pretty different. So, you know, there was something for everybody. This particular Weeks is a collaboration with Kinbor and Brunch Brothers. Brunch Brothers are like a stationery style brand. They have a lot of really cute characters. They are Korean. I have seen a lot of their stationery washi tapes on Shokako. I think I said that correctly. I'll link it below if you'd like to see it, and I can link the AliExpress page I got this from as well. Just first glance, I can already tell it is a little bit, a little bit bigger, just only slightly bigger than, longer I should say, than the Hobonichi Weeks, which is really not a big deal. And thickness looks pretty much the same. I can see here that it's pretty much set out the same way as the Weeks. And if we look inside, let's go to the Weeks first page. Oh, that's really cute. I like that. That's adorable. It's almost pretty similar. Yes, pretty much laid out exactly the same way, except of important dates. Here we have, I'm not sure what that is because it's in Chinese, but it looks like Chinese important, maybe holidays by the looks of it. But as you can see, it's pretty much laid out the same way. The paper feels the same. So I did read that they were at a heavier paper last year for the 2026 planners, but they've moved back to the Tomorrow River paper style. I don't know if it's true Tomorrow River paper, mochi. Excuse me, but it feels identical. So I believe that they have actually gone back to Tomorrow River paper. So that's a great selling point considering it was only $20. You're getting a premium paper. As you can see, it's all set up pretty similarly here, except we have the 12 months and on the Hobonichi, and here it's just 4 months at a time. So I suppose this would be really good with habits because there's definitely more room. If you want to list your habits up there and then tick them off that way, that's great. And then we go into the actual overview. Very similar. Again, the only difference really being is the calendar is here. It's a January start compared to a December start in the Hobonichi, and there's more writing room, so these squares are actually larger. So far, it's just as good. If I had this instead of a Hobonichi, or I didn't know what a Hobonichi was, I wouldn't feel, I wouldn't feel like I was missing out. So I really like that about it. Just move forward a little bit. Oh, okay. Here we have a New Year plan. Does Hobonichi have something similar? I'm quite new to Hobonichi myself, the weeks myself. I've always planned in a traveler's notebooks. So I've only really been in the weeks for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I'm coming up to 4 weeks. So even I'm getting to know this. Okay, so this doesn't have a plan of a new year. It goes straight into the actual year. One thing that I do like about the Hobonichi is the moon phases. I'm really into astronomy, so I think that's really cool, to be honest with you. Here we have the days of the week, not only in numbers, but also in Chinese and what looks to be Japanese, maybe. No, it's not. I'm not sure. I like here that we've got this. So if you've got your habits as well, you can tick them off. So that's another cute addition compared to the Hobonichi. And there is more writing room. So if you have more to talk about or more plans than, say, the average person, you've definitely got that extra space there compared to the Hobonichi, which has a quote. But also, I do really like the quote in the Hobonichi. But so far, comparison-wise, I feel like it's apples and apples. They're very similar to one another. There's nothing here that would make me unhappy to receive either or to have either. My daughter's already claimed the Kinbor, which is fine. The only thing I can see that's kind of bothering me already is that the days don't line up with the grid on the opposite side, but really that's not a big deal. Whereas we know the Hobonichi lines up beautifully. This doesn't really line up, but honestly, that's small fish. So if we head to the back, we've got the same pages here, about 80 pages. So if you need a little bit more room to write, you've definitely got that. And then there is a schedule overview. So I think this is for school or perhaps work. A gift list, a 21-day plan. So you could use that as a habit, I guess. Favorites, which is definitely different to the Hobonichi favorites, which is very cute and illustrated. And then it's very similar again to the back of the Hobonichi, where it has all those lovely good things, which I cannot find in mine now, but that's okay. So it has all those lovely good things here. So art exercises, it has an encyclopedia of paper. I'm not sure what that is. I would love to find out. I really have no idea. This here looks like to be clothing and shoe sizes, just judging by the numbers there. That looks like shoe sizes. And these look like clothing and top sizes. Maybe that's women's shoe sizes, that's men's shoe sizes. But yes, definitely a sizing of some sort there. There's a map of China, which is really cool. It shows all the provinces. And here is gourmet recommendations, which I will have to translate to tell you what it says. And the 24 solar terms, which I think will be interesting to learn about. And I do really like the illustration there. And the back, again, personal information is a little bit different to the Hobonichi. I can't show you mine because it's actually got my personal information. And there's a little ruler, which, you know what? That always comes in handy. That's not a bad thing. I like that. And on the very back here, there is a little pocket. And as you know, the Hobonichi comes with a plastic pocket that you can attach. And it's even got a stamp, which is pretty similar to what Hobonichi has done. So look, it is a dupe, let's be honest, but it's a very well-made dupe. Actually, you could say in some terms that you may prefer it to Hobonichi. The paper is great. We're going to do some testing and see how good it is, but I can tell you it's very similar to the Hobonichi paper. I'm going to be rough with this paper, so let's see what it's like. So I'm just going to write little nook. Because I think that's the best way to see if we're okay, how well it's going to work. And let's try a fountain pen. But you know what, like for the price, $20 with free shipping, it's not to be sneezed at. It's pretty reasonable, right? I mean, very reasonable. And if, you know, you feel like Hobonichi is expensive, which, you know, I do understand, I feel like this is certainly not a bad alternative. It's a great alternative. So let's have a look if we have any ghosting. Just to make sure you realise, I used a zinc mangaka, a mild liner, a fountain pen, and just a Sarasa gel pen. Those are the pens I use the most, so they make the most sense. Look, there is a bit of ghosting, but it's not horrible, and I definitely would say it's not more ghosting than the Hobonichi. Let's have a look at my last page. So, if there's anything here I can show you, which unfortunately there isn't because I've got writing everywhere. Sorry, but really it's not bad at all. I would be pretty happy with that. There's definitely no bleed through. There's no feathering. It dried really quickly, as you can see. So that's a great notebook. I have no complaints. I'm kind of sad that my daughter's taking it because I would happily use that this year without any issues. So there you go, guys. I hope you liked this quick review. If you have any information or if you have used a Kinbor before, I'd love to know what you thought of it, or if you would consider using a Kinbor. Now, I've been asked to share a little bit of information about my cat Mochi. So right after this, his cute little head's going to pop up on screen. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him. Otherwise, take care. Bye, guys. So I was asked if I would do a little introduction to my cat Mochi, whose actual name is Archimedes, but turns out he refuses to answer to that. Mochi is a 5-year-old British short hair. He came to me from work, so as I've said in the past, I'm a veterinary nurse, and I walked in one day and there he was with an absolute mess happening on his face. Both his eyes were very, very infected and he lost one. I was one of the staff that did his surgery. As soon as I saw him, I fell in love with him, and I tell you, I was not looking for a fourth cat because Mochi is actually my fourth. But I sent a photo of him to my husband and I said, can we please keep him? And my husband was like, what do you mean? He's already ours. So we did the surgery that day, and it was probably the most nerve-wracking surgery I've ever done because I was so stressed. He was only maybe 10 weeks old at the time, and having an eye removed is a big deal. And also his other eye, his good eye, was actually quite infected as well, but we managed to save it by suturing it up and absolutely pumping him full of antibiotics. And it's still not fantastic, but it will never really, sorry buddy, it'll never really get better. But he has been with us since he was about 4 months old, because he was at foster care, and I was just lucky that my friend happened to be the foster carer who was looking after him, so it was very easy for me to adopt him. And basically he lives like he's the king and we are all peasants, and I can only really touch him when I'm patting him. If I go and sit next to him or try and give him a snuggle, he looks at me like I have offended his whole bloodline. He's petty, and he's the kind of cat that will actually take a whiz in your shoe if you upset him. One day, my husband upset him, and in the middle of the night, he took a pee on my husband's feet. And that's when we realised how petty Mochi actually is. He does whatever the hell he wants, and we just let him get away with it because he's adorable. But as I said, he's actually my fourth cat. He's so naughty that he does not get along with any of the other cats. He fights with them all. So they're all allowed to go out into the catio, and Mochi is basically stuck in the house because as soon as they meet, they fight. And it's always him causing problems, unfortunately. His tail is too big for his butt, I think. So yeah, that's my Mochi. He's a naughty, naughty boy, but with a face like that, I think he's so beautiful, so he can get away with whatever he wants. So there you go. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and Mochi and I will see you next week. Bye guys.